Guys, and welcome to the Motor Show. That's Michael on the open road, making deliveries around the county of truth to you guys, and making deliveries literally to many businesses. So, it's not every day that the left has a retarded argument. Oh wait, no, it is every day that the left has a retarded argument. Today, we're going to be going after one of the biggest retarded arguments that the left has ever had. One of the absolute crowning achievements I'd say that the left managed to accomplish in all of their disinformation and all of their lies. That's the argument of white privilege. This stupid idea that because of the color of your skin, that you are somehow privileged in today's modern society. You know, I'll admit that there was a time when your skin color might have actually been a privilege, even though the amount of slave ownership in the United States was never that large. You had to be pretty wealthy to own slaves. So it's not like every white man out there had slaves, you know, it's a stupid argument. But in today's society, the left thinks that this racism is still going on. They think that there's a transparent racism, that white people aren't aware of how racist they are because society is just naturally inclined to supplement only white people's needs. This is an absolutely stupid argument. And, you know, if you look at the definition, which we'll get into here in a moment when I have a chance to stop the car and read it, my God, it's stupid. Absolutely stupid. You know, I thought that we were beyond this sort of stuff. I grew up, you know, with all kinds of friends that were from different creeds and different colors and things like that. And we were always taught to not concentrate on the color of people's skin, to just concentrate on the content of their character. That's what Martin Luther King said. So how is it that now all of a sudden it's okay to judge a white person just because they're white? You know? Like, oh, you're born with a certain pigment of skin means you must be privileged. We get to judge you, and that's not racist. Because with the left, you can never actually be racist towards a white person. Only a black person or a Hispanic person or any other color out there, and of course women too. You know, it's sexist to say anything against women because they're women. You know, if a woman has a terrible argument and you address her argument, that makes you a sexist. These sort of ideals, the left has double standards all the time. You know, they want to go after what happened 200 years ago, but they don't want to go after something that's still happening right now. Yes, that's right, there's still slavery in the world, and it's not here in the USA. It's across the pond. And I don't mean that as in like Britain. I mean that, you know, it's in the Middle East. Places like that, and in Africa there are actually places that are still trading slaves. They do it with people, and they do it with women too. So, you know, you think that the left would, where's the marches for that? You think they'd have a march against that, but no, they have a march for something that happened 200 years ago. It's so weird that this country went out of its way to get rid of slavery. You know, there were many people that fought and died for it. And I know that the Civil War was over more than just slavery, but most of my generation doesn't know that. And even if you are one of the people who thinks it was all just about slavery and that's it, ending slavery, why is it that we are being chastised for something that we ended when it's still going on in other places? If you want to attack the actual problem, go after it where it's actually happening. Not here in America, where it's been done and it's rid. It's over. You know? They gotta look for something to hate about America, and it's a never-ending hate fest with the left. That's the thing about leftists that I don't understand. They have this constant religion of hate. You know, they don't believe in God, but they hate America for a never-ending list of reasons. Religion has you believe that, you know, we're all sinners and we all sin, and essentially it's kind of the same thing. You know, you always have to atone, you always have to ask for forgiveness, things like that. The left doesn't like that sort of stuff. They don't like to have to ask for forgiveness, but they want us to forgive or to ask for forgiveness for things that we already did away with. And if you notice, most of the people that go after this issue are white. A lot of them are white. They go after this whole idea that America is racist, and they're white themselves. But, you know, as soon as you point that out to them and ask them to, you know, well, are you saying that you're a problem? Oh, I'm not a problem because I acknowledge it. I'm virtue signaling about it, so I'm not the problem. So that's the thing. They'll never put the blame on directly to themselves. They project the blame to other people. It's absolutely absurd. You know, and they do this with other things too. They do this with environmentalism as well. It's sick. So when I get a chance to stop here, I'm going to read some things, what the left thinks white privilege is. We're going to get into it. It's pretty hysterical, so stick around. Alright, so I got a couple minutes here. I'm ahead of schedule. So what does the left define white privilege as? Well, according to the SPLC, if you're not familiar with that, it's the Southern Poverty Law Center, an extreme leftist organization. This is from author Jennifer Holliday, who has a book out called White Anti-Racist Activism, a Personal Roadmap. This is a quote from the book defining white privilege. White skin privilege is not something that white people necessarily do, create, or enjoy on purpose. Alright, so already we have a goalpost that's being infinitely moving goalpost. And there's no way to beat this goalpost. There's no way to score because if you're white, you can be racist and not even know it. So basically, just being white, you're a racist. That's the point there that they're trying to make. Unlike the more overt or institutional manifestation of racism, white skin privilege is a transparent preference for whiteness that saturates our society. So, in other words, society prefers white people. That's what they're claiming here. White skin privilege serves several functions. First, it provides white people with perks that we do not earn and people of color do not enjoy. Second, it creates real advantages for us. White people are immune to a lot of challenges. Finally, white privilege shapes the world in which we live in, the way we navigate and act on another, and with the world. Sorry, I gotta read my writing and sometimes it's a little sloppy. So yeah, a bunch of gobbledygook in there that's basically saying that, you know, if you're white, you're racist and there's nothing you can do about it. And even thinking about that racism, you're still racist, you know. You could be racist and not even know it. It's an imaginary goalpost. It's an imaginary standard that you'll never be able to live up to. The left can use it against you infinitely forever as long as you buy into this crappy game. I gotta go to my delivery spot. I will continue with the perks and advantages that Jennifer Holliday says we have in just a moment. So stick around. Alright, so what are some of the perks of being white according to Jennifer Holliday? Well, according to this, one of the perks is that when black people go to the grocery store and they buy Band-Aids, the Band-Aids are the same color as white people. That's an argument. That's a point. Band-Aids are the same color as white people. Look at that. I got a boo-boo. Gotta be a Band-Aid. Got a Band-Aid around here. Shit, them little Band-Aids. All we got is this. That's all we got. Wait a second. That ain't the same color. Racist. Are you freaking kidding me? Right now, with this holy crap. It's hard not to swear up a storm when you hear stupid crap like that. Band-Aids? Man, is that even true? I mean, aren't there Band-Aids out there? Aren't there like generic brand Band-Aids out there that are, you know, clear. I've seen them. How is that an argument? Okay, another one. Let's go to another one. I got some more on here. Hotel shampoo. Apparently it works better for white people than black people. Works better for their hair. And this is a sign of racism. Because the hotels are catering to white people. That's racist. Racist. Okay, first of all, shampoo? What? Man, I don't even use hotel shampoo when I go to a hotel. First of all, I use my own. I bring my own. But shampoo? That's your point? Aren't most hotels ran by minorities anyway? Like, every time I've ever gone to a hotel, I don't think I've ever really seen a white person running a hotel anymore. I'm pretty sure every time I've gone to a hotel, it's usually an Indian couple running it, you know, East Indians or Asians that run it. So how the heck? I mean, that ain't even a point. That's so damn stupid. That is such a retarded point that I'm done reading those ones. We'll get to the advantages here next. Some perks, you know, let's talk about the perks of being a white person. Like, let's talk about the real perks. Like, you know, every day having to hear that I'm privileged. That's a great perk. That's my favorite one, actually. You know, if this game was, if life was like Fallout, that would be the perk I would choose, for sure. I'd be able to choose that perk. Good God. Bunch of crap. I'll be back. Okay, guys, so here's the prime rib of their argument. The creme de la creme. The, you know, we got you because this is true of their argument. And this is the part of the video where some people are going to absolutely hate me, and other people are going to be like, no, this guy's speaking the truth. We'll have to get a little bit into, you know, theoretical stuff, but okay, so sorry about the shoddy camera work once again. It's, you know, I gotta pay attention to the road more so than you guys. Advantages. Skin color, this is a quote, not working against me in terms of how people perceive my financial responsibility. So in other words, people see a black person, they assume that they're poor. I've never done that, so that's a bullshit. I mean, none of my friends have ever done that. Not really a point. I've got a white friend. I've got plenty of white friends that are, you know, broke, that buy a bunch of crap. So skin color, nothing to do with that. It's funny that they would assume that white people assume this, you know. Style of dress, again, not a point. I see plenty of white kids that dress with these baggy pants, and I still think it's a stupid style. It doesn't matter if it's a white person wearing it or a black person. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're Mexican. It doesn't matter if you're Asian. Anybody wearing that baggy pants, to me, that's retarded. I'm sorry. It's stupid. It has nothing to do from where it comes from, which, if you actually know the origin of where it comes from, you probably wouldn't do it. Public speaking skills. Again, no. I base the public speaking skills on whether you're a good speaker or not. So that's not a point. Job performance. Again, no. I don't assume that black people are worse at jobs than white people. Nobody I know does that. That's insane. As well as people not assuming I get to where I am because of my race. This one is an interesting point. This one, I could say, okay, yeah, you've got something there, but the left invented this one. They're the ones primarily responsible. There's a thing called affirmative action. It's a thing that universities have to abide by, and big companies. Not all companies, but a lot of companies have to abide by this. It's something that basically requires a company to hire a certain amount of black people, a certain amount of women, and it's all based on their skin, it's all based on their race, it's all based on their sex. It's percentages, and you have to fill a certain quota. Now this, I could say, yeah, I'll assume if you're not as good at, okay, if you happen to be black and they hire you over somebody else who has a better work rating, who has a better, you know, ability to complete a job, then yes, I'm going to assume you were hired because of your race or your sex, because they hired you to fill a quota, okay? This is extremely damaging to society and to companies and to universities. All right? You want to talk about universities and discrimination? Look at how much higher an Asian person has to score on an SAT score versus a black person. Just look at that. Yet I don't see I don't see a bunch of Japanese people or Chinese people lining up crying discrimination. I mean, they know it. They're not stupid. They know that they're being discriminated against, but they're not making a big deal about it, and they should. Because if you want an equal playing field, then, you know, everybody should have to score the same to get into a university. This is exactly why our universities are falling apart, because you have stupid crap like this. Another advantage: store security personnel or law enforcement officers do not harass white people or pull them over because of their race. Okay, again, this is crap. All right? There may have been a time. Okay, what the hell? Hang on a second. Oh, he stops right when I do it. You should have seen. He's going back and forth. I've done that too on my bike, but what the... Okay. So, generally, I mean, there may have been a time where this was going on. There may be cases where this happens. Okay? I can't say that every cop isn't a racist. I can't say that every cop is the best at their job, okay? I can't say that, obviously. Nobody can say that it's perfect in any regard, all right? Nothing's perfect. But in general, people are pulled over because they break the rules, okay? Now, I've talked to black friends of mine that believe in this stuff lightly. They don't believe in it, you know, to the degree that it's being pushed, that the left wants them to believe it, but they still believe it a little bit. They believe that black people are discriminated, they get more speeding tickets, or they go to jail more, or that there's a big percentage of them despite being only 12% of the population, or 13%. Well, here's the thing about that. They didn't go to jail because they're black. They went to jail because they committed a crime, okay? It's like they like to recite the Trayvon Martin case or the Michael Brown case. Both of those, the officers were justified in their actions, in what they did. Martin was beating the crap out of that guy, beating his skull into the concrete, okay? Michael Brown reached for an officer's gun. You know, how many times do you see a black cop shoot a white person? Do you ever hear about that? No, of course not. You never do, but it does happen. Of course it happens. And don't you see black cops shoot black people all the time? It's based on the severity of the crime and whether the person's resisting and whether the person's threatening the officer's life. In the case of Michael Brown, he had just robbed a store. He strong-armed a store manager. And then he tries to grab a cop's gun. Of course he's going to get shot. If that cop was black, it would have been the same situation. These things happen. To argue that it's all based on race is the dumbest thing. And this is where they think they have an argument on us. They don't. There is no argument here. If you're breaking the law, if you're out of line, you have no respect for police officers, you're going to get shot, or you're going to get arrested, or you're going to get tased. Something's going to happen, okay? And people like to argue that the officers made the wrong move. Well, in the moment, it's very hard to make a good judgment in the moment. Not many people can make a good judgment when their instincts kick in to protect their life or to protect somebody around them. Sometimes bad calls are made. Everybody's got an anecdote for how this is real, and for everybody that's got an anecdote for this, there's an anecdote for the opposite. I have plenty of white friends that have been pulled over, that have gotten tickets, that have done stupid things, and dick cops, white cops, same race, gave them a ticket. I got pulled over in Winlock this year doing a car show. I was in my beautiful car, you know, coming home, having fun. I was doing like a couple miles per hour over the speed limit. And this cop, pulls me over, starts saying I have a bad attitude, even though all I said was, "Yes, officer, yes, sir," You know, and I wasn't being snotty. I was very respectful. I was expecting that, you know, I was expecting to get a warning, and I did get a warning, but the cop was such a dick. He had to make an example out of me in front of the deputy that he was, you know, working with. And I just couldn't believe it. And it turns out this cop is a dick. That's the way he is. He's an old cop and he's a dickhead. But that's the thing. He still, you know, he gave me a warning, and I'm thankful that he did. But he doesn't treat anybody else any differently. Okay? It's based on the cop's discretion. And yes, some people are dicks. People are human. They make mistakes. But to argue some point that there's some grand conspiracy against black people in society because the hotel shampoo don't match my particular needs and the Band-Aids aren't the right color. Oh my God. Get the hell over yourselves. Have you really nothing better to do in your life but be miserable? Be absolutely miserable. It's just insane, this argument being put forth here, and it's absolutely despicable. We need to shut this down. You want to know the real way to end racism? Stop this crap. Because all this does is concentrate on skin color. All this does is concentrate on our differences and point the finger at white people. It's just as racist. It's just as racist. White privilege is nothing but racism. It's the left's way of being racist and getting away with it. All right, so I want to make one more point I overlooked, and I have to return to one of the advantages to make this claim, and that's the whole idea that if you're black and you go to the grocery store, that people are going to follow you around assuming that you're going to steal. That is such a bullshit, and I mean bullshit, claim. Okay? That would never work in capitalist society, especially today's society, for the obvious reasons that if a store actually did do this, or if this actually does happen somewhere in the United States, the word would get out. People would say, you don't want to shop there because they're assholes. And more people would stop going to that store. They'd go to a different store that doesn't discriminate. And that store would gain the business of the store that does discriminate. So the discriminating store would lose its business and go belly up in the natural order of things. Once again, the free market fixes it all. Capitalism only sees one color, guys. It sees green. Okay? There's no incentive to kill off a customer base based on their race. No incentive whatsoever. That is absurd. Only a moron, only a complete moron would do that. And most people that manage to rise into the power of leading a corporation are not stupid. So it's not a point. It's not real. I've never heard of it before this person came along. And I sure as hell hope I never have to hear that again. Okay, that is a dead point, dead argument. It's done. Over. Destroyed. Boom. History. So back to my closing point. You know, the only real way to fix all this is to stop talking about it. I think Morgan Freeman was the guy who said, was the person who said that the only way racism goes away is if you stop talking about it. And he's right, okay? I may not always agree with the things that he says. There may be some things he said that, you know, I'm not aware of. But that was a good point. Very good, very wise thing to say. I've been saying that my whole life and people don't seem to understand what I'm talking about. Look, if you want to be truly colorblind, then stop pointing out things like white privilege. Stop looking at Band-Aids and being like, it's not the same color. What about those pink Band-Aids? What about the Band-Aids with SpongeBob on it? I mean, what does it matter? It's a freaking Band-Aid. They make all different kinds of colors of Band-Aids. I'll bet there is a black Band-Aid out there somewhere, or a brown colored Band-Aid. I know one of my friends was telling me that when he puts on a Band-Aid, it's darker than his skin color. So he's really pasty white. Where's his justice? There is none. Is he calling for any? No, because that's retarded. It's not a point. We got to get over this, okay? This is the leftist point of view. It's the leftist way of dividing us. It's a political point. It's not real. It's one of those don't think things. White privilege is a don't think word. And what I mean by that is that you hear it and you're not allowed to question it. If you do question it, you get labeled a racist, which is another one of those don't think words. When people call you a racist, that's the end of the story. That's what they've done to the president. That's what they do to all the people that support the president. That's what they do to all the political debaters that argue good points against the left. They brand you a racist. I'll probably be branded a racist for this video. Well, I got news for you. I've got black friends, and this ain't gonna come in between us. I've got Hispanic friends, and they know this is true. It's the same points that they argue. They aren't Uncle Tom's. That is a completely stupid point of view. And it's the left who is the hateful group. Okay? It's the leftists who spread all the hate in society. So that's it. That's my rant for the day. Your guys' argument is gone. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope I did a good enough job for you. If you liked it, you know, thumbs up, hit the like button, subscribe, spread the links. If you think you can do a better job than me, please go ahead, by all means. Spread your voice, because we need all the voices in this fight that we can get. So the more the merrier. Thanks for taking the ride. You can follow me on Twitter at motor_show1776. That's motor in all caps _ capital S HOW 1776. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, take it easy.